you still remember how it felt. You woke up in the morning, just like always. And there was nothing. No soft fur brushing against your leg. No little paws trotting onto your bed. No quiet purring anywhere in the apartment. Just silence. And in that silence, you realized it's truly over. Many people say they never knew how much space such a tiny creature could take up until they were gone. That space is now empty, and it feels infinitely vast. If you're going through the loss of a cat right now, or if you know that moment will come someday, this video is for you. Not to take the grief away, but to transform it into something greater. Because hidden within this pain are questions we rarely say out loud. Did they suffer? What happened to them? Is there still something left of them? And perhaps the deepest question of all, will they be waiting for me somewhere? Today, we're exploring those questions through science, ancient cultures, and what people all over the world experience when they lose a cat and ask themselves, what exactly was it that we shared? But first, I want to say something that is rarely said. Grieving for a cat is real grief. That needs to be said out loud because society still doesn't fully understand it. Studies show that losing a pet can create the same neurological profile as losing a close family member. The exact same brain regions, the same cortisol levels, the same sleep disruptions, the same gaping hole in your daily life. And yet, the world sometimes says, it was just a cat. It wasn't just a cat. It was your cat. It was your daily connection to something that accepted you unconditionally. It was someone who knew you, truly knew you, and stayed anyway. This is not a small loss. It is a profound one. Let's talk about something many people don't know: how cats prepare for their own death. Cats do something that has fascinated scientists for decades. They often withdraw as they are dying. This is an instinct from their wild past. In nature, weakness means danger, so a sick animal hides. But with domestic cats, cats who are deeply anchored in a relationship, something else happens. They seek closeness. In their final days or weeks, often before their human realizes what's coming, the cat changes. They suddenly come to you more often. They lie near you more frequently. They look at you differently. Not weak, not helpless, but calm. As if they know, and as if they want you to be calm, too. That's a sign you might only recognize looking back. Many people do. They say, now I understand what they were doing those last few days. They were saying goodbye. And if you are there, in that moment, it is one of the deepest gifts a soul can give you. But I also want to talk about what happens after death, not just emotionally, but in a way many describe as surreal. There is a phenomenon that animal psychologists have documented, which ID like to call echoing presence. People who have lost a cat repeatedly report similar experiences. The feeling that the cat is briefly sitting next to them. The sensation of warmth in the spot on the bed where they always lay. The sound of little paws somewhere in the hallway. Some call it imagination. Others call it memories manifesting physically. But maybe it's simply this: the impact of a deep bond doesn't just instantly fade away. Just like a musician who stops playing still echoes in your ears, a cat echoes in your home for a long time. Let me tell you about various cultures that foresaw this phenomenon. In ancient Egypt, cats were considered immortal beings. They were seen as guardians of the threshold between the living and the dead. People didn't believe that cats died. They believed they simply changed their form. In Japan, there is the concept of maneki-neko, the beckoning cat, which is still worshipped in temples today, because people believe cat spirits protect a place long after the cat has gone. In Northern European traditions, the heritage that also shaped German thought about nature and spirit, cats were seen as companions on journeys between worlds. Not as animals, as companions. And if you have ever loved a cat, you instinctively understand what those cultures meant. There is one more question I want to address directly. Did they feel pain? That is the question that torments people the most, especially when the cat had to be put to sleep. Did I make the decision too early or too late? There is no perfect answer, but there is an honest one. Vets and behavioral researchers unanimously report the greatest gift a human can give a cat is making that decision before the pain becomes unbearable. That is not giving up. That is the ultimate act of love. And making that decision out of love, that is the hardest, yet most noble thing we can ever do. Now I want to talk about what remains. Not the missing, the things that stay. What a cat leaves behind isn't just a void. They also leave behind something that grows. A greater capacity for silence. A special understanding of how to coexist with a being that doesn't need words. A reminder of what it feels like to simply be present, without explaining, without justifying. That is something they gave you, and their death does not take that back. I want to end this video with an invitation. If you have lost your cat, just leave their name in the comments. Just their name. No explanation needed. No complete sentences. Because a name is enough. It carries everything. We read every single one. We think of every single one. Because a cat that was loved should never be forgotten. And in this video, in this exact moment, there is a place for all of them. The Rainbow Bridge concept is something many people know, even without calling it that. It's the idea that the animals who loved us and who we loved are waiting somewhere. Not necessarily in a religious sense, but in the deepest human sense, the hope that love doesn't just end. And I want to tell you, that hope is not a weakness. It is humanity. The brain processes the death of a loved one the exact same way, whether it's a person or a cat. That means your pain is valid, and your hope to see them again is, too. Let me tell you about something animal communicators worldwide report. People who had deep bonds with their cats sometimes describe experiences in the days following their death. A sound, a scent, the feeling of being touched, even though no one is there. Science calls these grief hallucinations, and they are far more common than we think, and much more normal. They just show that the connection was so profound that the brain still needs time to understand it's physically over. That is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of a true bond. And sometimes, if you look closely, you wonder, maybe it's not a hallucination at all. Maybe it is an echo, a lingering resonance. The very thing that remains when nothing else does. How long does the grief last? That is a very common question, and the answer is simple, as long as it needs to. There is no deadline for grief, no time limit by which you should be feeling better. Some people grieve for a cat for only a few weeks, others for months. Some, even after years, look back at a photo with a smile that still hurts today. That is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It is a sign that the bond was real. So there is no wrong way to grieve, only your way. And when you're ready to take the next step, not because you forgot your old cat, but because you're ready to love again, that is also a form of respect toward them. Because nothing honors a cat more than a human who is capable of loving. And loving again. Let me tell you about something beautiful before we wrap up. There is a researcher who worked with animal shelters, and she noticed that people who lost a cat and later adopt a new one often perceive this new cat as a bridge. Not as a replacement, as a bridge. As if the soul of the old cat had maintained a connection. Of course, that can't be proven, but it is beautiful, and perhaps that's enough. Because at the end of the day, the question isn't, where is my cat now? The question is, what does the time I spent with them still carry within me? And you will find the answer to that question when you are still, when you pay attention to the things they taught you. How to truly rest, how to be completely present, how to receive love without having to explain it. Those things don't die with them. They live on inside of you. That is perhaps the most beautiful legacy an animal can leave behind. Not an empty bed, not an untouched food bowl, but an ability within you that they awakened. The ability to pause, to feel, to just be there. That ability is yours, and it was a gift from them. Write to us now, just the name of your cat. We read every single one. And when the day comes that you hold a cat in your arms again, whether tomorrow or years from now, you will know exactly what you have to give. Because you know what it means to lose. And whoever knows what it means to lose also knows what it means to love. That is the deepest legacy of your cat. It lives within you, right now and forever. Thank you for sharing this video. Thank you for loving them. And if you are still sad, that's completely fine. That is allowed. They were worth it. You are worth it. Until the next video.